What's the show called?
The Hardcore Zen Show.
Oh, all right. Hi, welcome to the Hardcore Zen Show, episode 1. We're going to see how this goes. What are we doing this show for?
A fundraiser. We're going to ask for money.
Okay, this is a fundraising show. We're going to ask for money.
But also, maybe are we going to enlighten people?
We're going to enlighten you and ask for your money. We're doing this out of the Angel City Zen Center, which you can't see much of. And the reason we're doing this show is to try to help fund this place so that we can bring enlightenment and funny jokes to the people of Los Angeles and the world. Today on the show, we're going to have story time when we're going to talk about a koan and tell you what it means or tell you what we think it means. We're going to talk to author Noah Cicero, who is a friend of mine and writes lots of interesting books, including a book about Buddhism. And Amanda Loveland, a Carmedian from, where is she from? Santa Cruz, California. We're going to talk to her a little bit about what she does and what a Carmedian is. This is going to be great. Well, I don't know if it'll be great, but it'll be something. It's going to be the first Buddhist low-budget YouTube talk show, comedy show thing in the world. So we're going to try not to put you to sleep and talk to you about Zen and do some other interesting stuff. So come on, let's go. I can do this thing. What do they call that? The kids do it these days.
It's dabbing.
Dabbing.
Hey, Bodhidharma. Hey. Hey, Bodhidharma. What you thinking about?
Not thinking.
How do you think about not thinking?
Don't think about it.
So I was thinking about science fiction. I'm a big fan of science fiction. I'm a fan of real science fiction. I don't like most of what goes under the heading science fiction these days on television and movies because it's usually like Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars is fine if you like it, but Star Wars is not science fiction. It's a fantasy adventure series that happens to be set in outer space. It has nothing to do with science, which is what I like about science fiction. So I was thinking about science fiction and thinking about the prospect of aliens capable of interstellar travel. Now, if you had a society that was capable of interstellar travel, they would have an extremely high level of technology. They would have the kind of technology wherein individuals would have incredible power. Like, imagine a society in which an individual had the power to destroy a whole city or destroy a whole country or destroy half the planet or destroy the whole planet. That's the kind of society you're talking about if you're talking about a society that has something as complex technologically as interstellar travel, because there would be all sorts of other technology would have to grow up around that technology. And you already see this happening today. You see people, there's a commercial that's been running. I don't even know what it's for, but at the beginning of the commercial, this guy is addressing a group of teenagers. An adult is addressing a group of teenagers who all have cell phones. And he says, "You have more power in the palm of your hand than previous generations could ever have dreamed of." And he's right. So people have incredible access to tremendous power already. Now, if you extrapolate that to the level of a society that has interstellar travel, then you're talking about individuals having incredible power. The only way a society like that could possibly survive is if everyone, absolutely everyone, in the society was completely committed to ethical behavior. You could not allow anyone to be a rogue or a rebel in that society because it wouldn't work. For example, if you imagine in such a society, if there was the equivalent of that guy who shot up the school in Florida, or the people in Columbine, or these kind of people, they wouldn't just be killing 17 people or 30 people or whatever it was in Las Vegas, 50 people or whatever it was. They could kill everybody, or they could kill such a huge amount of people that it would be devastating to the society. So you couldn't have it. You absolutely couldn't have it. So in order for a society to develop to that level, it has to have a commitment to ethics. And I think this is what's going on in our own society, as I said, because we're developing such tremendous power. We either come up with an ethical system that works for all of us, or we perish. One of the other things I thought of is the fact that as a society develops technologically, more and more of its citizens are monitored more closely. Like Facebook knows everything about you. They know more than the CIA knew about, I don't know, Lee Harvey Oswald or somebody, I don't know, probably even a more recent case you could come up with. They know about you because they have to. They have to. The society has to keep an eye on its members because they all are so dangerous to the society as a whole. And where this dovetails onto Buddhism is perhaps a little tenuous, but Buddhism is very committed to ethics. So there are people, misguided people, I would say, like Sam Harris and some others, who say, let's take meditation out and just teach meditation. We don't need to teach all this religious stuff, you know? And what they mean by religious stuff is sometimes superstition and things, but they also mean the ethical teachings. They think that you can just separate the mindfulness from the ethics and just teach it as its own thing. But there's a reason that all that ethical stuff surrounds Buddhism, and that's because one of the effects of meditation practice is that you start to become very powerful psychologically, in a way. There are people, we've seen this happen, who use it to, or maybe they don't do this deliberately, but they end up becoming very persuasive people, or becoming very manipulative people. There's a documentary on Netflix about Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, and that's his thing. He's very manipulative to the point where he seems to hypnotize the people around him. And it probably has to do with the power that his meditation practice kind of gave him. So you can't let these things grow up in the absence of ethics, and this is why I think ethics is a real big deal in Buddhism. So that's my little sermon for today. Let's get on with the fun show.
Hey, Bodhidharma?
Rumph.
Do you want to hear a story?
Buddhas don't tell stories.
I'm not a Buddha. It's time for story time.